Okay, here we're going to try and do the steps to the droid. So what I've done is the first step, which is on my stabilizer. You can hoop whatever materials you choose to as your base. I have just happened to use the tearaway because it's what I use for this big hoop. If your material is like a tearaway and you're worried that the lights will pop out of the back once the design is completed, then just go ahead and use a waterproof canvas or something similar, a cutaway, that would work as well, as your base. So this is going to be where my design will sit inside the frame. I've done the placement so that you know where to put your foam, and I'll show you that in a minute. The other materials you're going to need are the lights, which look like this, or you can use a like the twinkly lights. It's up to you on which lights you choose to use. I'm going to use the rope lights today. I purchased this off Amazon. It comes with about 6 different colors, 7 different colors. I think it was $11 for that many. You can also get them in solid colors, solid, like clear. So the other thing that you're going to need is the jelly vinyls. So you can use a translucent one, or you can use one that is like see-through that's just tinted. Both of these I purchased off of Amazon, but I've also purchased them from Purple Dragon. Okay, and then you're going to need your main fabric. So onto the foam, which this is just headliner. I typically buy it in bulk, and that way I can use it for when I'm doing embroidery designs. It's cheaper than buying some of the bag materials that I would typically use if I'm making a nice bag, but this is something that is really handy for me when I'm doing a tester or just an embroidery design on like a main front panel. Hope that makes sense. So I'm going to line it up, put it underneath just like this, and then I'm going to take it to my embroidery hoop and I'm going to stitch. It's going to be double layer, and then I'm going to trim the interior of that. Okay, so what I've done is step 2, and then I took the hoop off and I just took the batting out of that. It creates a little bit of a channel, so it's a little bit easier when you're going ahead and adding your lights to your vinyl. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to make a circle right here, and then I'm going to cut that circle out. This will be where you feed your design in and out, or your lights in and out. So once again, we're going to feed these lights into that little hole once we get to that point. Okay. Step 3 is this little hole here, and I'm going to take my clippers and just open it up. So now the hole is cut out, I'm going to replace or add to my vinyl. Okay, so what it's going to do is it's going to stitch the interior first. So this part here we don't have to really worry about. We just put it on the thing and stitch it out. So I've gone ahead and I've stitched the exterior here. This is what we're working with on the outside, so just kind of giving you a heads up. See how it's threaded through this little section here? That's what we're going to do now. So I did the twist ties, took them off the bundle. This thing, little contraption, just pulls apart, and then you can just slide it in and to that little hole. If you feel like you need more space, you can always cut it to get to however far you need. So once we have that in place, see if I can get you closer. Once we have that in place, you can see it here. I'm just going to manipulate it so that it goes into the corners. I use my duckbills because they don't have a sharp edge to them. And you're just going to manipulate it around. So when you go to do this next stitch, it's going to be a series of stitches. So it's going to go from here down to here, right? So you're just, once it stitches here, you're just going to pull and wrap it around. It's going to stop, giving you enough to kind of manipulate this into there. And it's going to keep on going just like that. It's going to go from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, so that you get around that curve. It's going to go all the way to here. Then it's going to go once again on this side, goes all the way down, stops here, and lets you get that curve in just the same way. It's going to stop here. It's not going to stitch right in this section. Don't worry about that. That's just so that we have playroom. Once we go to put our top fabric on, which is this here, once we go to put that top fabric on, then it will stitch in that spot, and I will explain to you how that's going to work. The lights are the trickiest thing. This whole design is pretty easy. It's the lights that make it a little bit unique. So it takes a little bit of finessing when you're doing it on an embroidery machine, especially if it's one like mine where it's got a base to it. If you're doing a multi-needle that kind of floats, then you won't really have to worry about where your cords are hanging down. But this one, you're going to have to worry about where your cords are hanging down. So obviously what we're about to do is we're going to start here and stitch down, so we can't have that cord hanging down this direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it to this way. Just like that. And I'm going to duct tape it in place. Usually I like to have a little bit more of a hangover so that this piece here is over this edge, so I don't have that bulk. I know my machine can go over that bulk, but not all of them can. And this little bit of extra, it's perfectly fine if it's hanging out. Okay, so I'm going to try and film how I do this, so bear with me. Okay, you're going to have to see me do all my fubbles and stuff like that. So all I'm doing is pushing it over to the corner, and I'm going to hold it with my finger a little bit. This little piece is sticking out over here, so it's not in my way. I'm going to put my foot down, put it into place, because evidently I did not. So that cord is kind of going this direction. The foot's going to come down. And I'm just pulling it a little bit with my fingers to keep it out of the way. And that's the first stop. So all I'm doing now is I'm going to throw my cord to the back of my machine. So this is where I've stopped. I'm going to put my finger down. I've pushed that in a little bit. And there we go again. I think I brightened it up a little bit so you can see. And if you need to, like I've just done, stop it. Otherwise, you can just use a tool, which I did not have in my hand, to keep it going. And at any point you feel like it's getting away from you, just stop it and push that cord. Like I said, this is the most tedious part of it because you don't want that cord to get cut. So we're now at the curve. I'm just going to push lightly on my cord and it will tuck it right into that corner. Put my foot back down and it will go. It's going to stop. And I'm going to take my thread, or my lights, and I'm going to wrap them. real time so you can see how I'm doing this. I'm just wrapping my cord around.
Hey, bippity boppity, do you have to pee?
Possibly. So we're going to put that foot back down, and it's going to go all the way around. Clearly I touched a button. Pushing it into that corner, it's just going to stop on its own so that I can get that corner nice and sharp. Just like that with me pushing on it. Put the foot back down and let it go. So now we're back to the side. I find the tweezers are the easiest to kind of get it under there because I got fat fingers. And keep going. And like I said, you're just guiding your cord to keep it out of the trench. So I forgot something. So what I just did was ended the machine, like stopped it, because we had this cord still here. So what I want you to do is just grab onto the cord. That's why we leave a little bit of length, and then we're just going to pull it, and it should just slide right underneath your machine and out of the way. So I've literally just pulled it to the other side here, and I've got my finger on it. So take your machine, you're going to flip it over, and you're going to take this and you're going to pull it up and out of your way. So because it's not going to be in our way over there, that's where I'm going to put it. Get my duct tape. So each machine's gonna be different. You're gonna have to figure out how you want this to sit on yours, okay? But now that's out of the way for me. You're gonna take the end of your cord, because we haven't finished yet. Remove it. And slide it into that hole. This will make it easier down the road. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to push my cords where I want them to be. This should hold everything into place because obviously we've got that channel. If not, use your tweezers. You can always do something that I literally just thought of, is probably put double-sided tape on the outside edges here that you don't see. Run your cord, and then when you put your plastic down, it sticks to that and keeps your cord in the channel. Because, you know, that would work, but it wasn't in my thought process. So my cord I'm going to pull to the back so it's not in my space and it won't get caught up. I'm going to re-hoop. Everything is sitting just fine. And let me get that piece into that channel. Put my foot down, lock it in place because I've forgotten that so many times this time around. Oh, and evidently I pulled the thread out, so we're going to rethread that too. And it stops right there in that corner. Now that we're back over here, I can pull the tape off. It's getting not as sticky as I would like, so I need to work on that. And I'm going to cut this. Okay, just simply cut it. You can put a little piece of tape right there. You can put glue. I typically just grab these little things. They typically will pop off, and then I can just slide it right back on, just like that. So. Okay, so I've reframed it. You can see that I've cut out the center and I've cut out the edges a little bit. Forgot to do that part that I wanted. I cut out the center so that you won't have too much bulk here, because keep in mind you're going to use fabric now, and you're also going to have little pieces of vinyl as well as a main white piece of vinyl on top. Okay, so there's that. I have my cord that is running here. I have that piece hanging out over on this end. And now I'm just going to take my fabric, and I, of course, stopped halfway through and decided I want to do a different fabric. And this is the one I chose. How do I want this to sit? So obviously you would have this cut to the design that you want in here, or to make a bag out of, I should say. Okay, I think that's where I want. Okay, so now we're just going to stitch. It's going to do the inside line first, and then I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to make sure that my cord is out of the way when I go to do the bottom. Okay, now I pause it here. I'm going to lift the foot so that I can drag my piece out of the way. So now my cord, the attachment piece is actually going this direction. So when I go to put this down, it will not get caught. I'm going to stop it, cut the thread so that I can lift it up and move that cord again. Now that cord is all the way to the back and will not get caught. Put my foot back down and finish my stitches. crying because I'm always freaking out that I'm going to stitch through this thing. Now I'm going to leave it on this so that you can see the next step. This is just going to be your placement. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cut this out here. These on the inside are all your placement pieces. So the first one's going to go down is this here, which is silver. So you're going to put a silver-ish color here. Then you're going to do the blue or black or whatever color you want to do. I've got this pretty blue that I'm going to do for all of these pieces. Okay, let's get to it. Now I have a backing to this fabric, so it might take me a minute to get through both layers. See? And then it reveals your color. And your cord is still good. When we go to replace this though, we are going to tape this into place so that it doesn't move anymore. Because now you're just going to be working on the interior droid. You're not going to be working on the exterior of the droid. So you just want to get this so that it's not going to shift anymore. And obviously I need better tape. But let's go ahead and reveal our